What's up, guys? This is Colin with D-Pad Dubs. Today, we're doing the 5th installment in our series, The Art of Support, and I'm bringing you my personal favorite, Brigitte. With her passive AoE and burst healing, insane crowd control, and constant pressure, Brigitte broke Overwatch with her initial release. Her introduction started the Reign of Terror meta, known as GOATs, and single-handedly changed the way Overwatch was played. After her rework, aka nerf, and the introduction of role queue, her position in the meta changed, but she's still extremely viable in the right hands. Here are 5 tips that will have your team wondering why they aren't dying when they should have, and force the enemy to cower in fear. First, inspire always. Be aware of when your passive heals are active, and make it a priority to keep your Inspire uptime as high as possible. Inspire lasts 6 seconds, so be sure to renew its duration by dealing a bit of damage every few seconds during a team fight. Whip Shot is the perfect ability to renew Inspire with its extended range and extremely short cooldown. Use this as often as possible to deal some quick damage without having to enter melee range. However, there are other ways to increase your uptime and consistently deal damage without getting into a dangerous position. When played near her tanks, as she almost always should be, your flail will ignore the enemy barriers in the tank versus tank brawl while staying behind the safety of your team's own barriers and other defensive abilities. Know when to bash. Because of Bash's power to interrupt potent abilities and ultimates like Reaper's Death Blossom, a good Brigitte keeps her bash ready for the right circumstance. Few things can stop that sticky Roadhog from getting all his health back like a good bash to his pig nose, usually leaving him out of position and allowing your team an easy cleanup. I've been caught too many times when a Reaper ults, wishing I hadn't just wasted my bash when I could be saving the team fight. Now, this isn't to say that bash always needs to be used to stop an ultimate, but it should always be used in a way that gets more value than just pestering an enemy for half a second. It is an interrupt and gets maximum value out of cutting off the use of an enemy ability or keeping a mobile opponent still long enough for your team to finish them off. Be aware of the right opportunities to use this ability to get its maximum value. Brigitte is a brawl god. Although Brigitte's DPS is low, her constant flailing and AoE damage turns her into a walking Ana anti-grenade. Make sure to coordinate with your team on who they're targeting so you can suppress enemy heals enough for your team to finish them off. Brigitte pairs extremely well with tanks for this reason, because the constant pressure can waste the enemy's resources during extended team fights. Consider running tanks like Reinhardt, Winston, D.Va, or Zarya that also have the same kind of pressure to overwhelm the enemy team. On a similar note, if you're in a one-on-one and your enemy starts receiving heals, call out your target so your team can assist, or simply walk away and find a better use of your time. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and you'll probably end up watching a kill cam. Stay safe at range. Be extremely wary of ranged DPS. You may want to push that low health soldier or Hanzo to finish them off, but they can easily break your shield with their high damage and leave you vulnerable before you're able to close the gap. In some situations, you can actually use bash to simply close the distance to your target more quickly and start swinging. Whip-shotting someone into a corner can cut off their escape and ensure they can't get back to their team. Make sure to use cover as you move to stay protected and let your shield recharge so you can keep pushing the enemy back until they run out of places to go, and also cut off line of sight from the high ground. Use armor offensively. Brigitte's primary capabilities revolve around providing armor to your teammates, so be sure to provide it at the right time. If a teammate is using an ult that leaves them unprotected, preemptively throw them a repair pack to be sure the enemy doesn't shut them down. For instance, if your McCree is going for a high noon, he's usually in a vulnerable position, but that extra armor will make it much harder for the enemy to take him out before he does some serious damage. Same concept goes for an ulting Pharah, Reaper, or even some takes like Roadhog or Sigma. Pretty much anyone with a channeled ult. Well, there you have it. By no means is this a comprehensive list, and there's plenty more to be said about Brigitte's usefulness to your team. But if you learned something today, please like and subscribe to our channel to receive more fun and helpful content. Thanks for hanging out in the D-Pad.